Big crowds collected in southward Africa for the burial of the Against-apartheid campaign participant Winnie Mandela. Thousands of mourners overcrowded in a arena in Soweto, close Johannesburg, wherever the campaign participant was taking into account a top-level email off of her funeral in Johannesburg. Her box was draped in the domestic banner, and Southward African CEO Cyril Ramaphosa brought the panegyric. The ex-woman of Nelson Mandela dead over the monthly at the age of 81. A contentious drawing, Mrs. Mandela was lauded for her part in the against-apartheid fight. But she was after shunned by the policy elitists for approving penalty killings by the government informers. At the burial, Mrs. Mandela's child Zanani Mandela Dlamini berated the excess brutality of such she told had led smudge campaigns versus her mom and in isolation her, just to precise her behalf following her die. It is so frustrating to see how they deducted their speech for my mom's life expectancy, knowledge really so which they would include intended to her. Just they aware why they chose to stake the true in the planet following she dead, Mrs. Mandela Dlamini told. CEO Ramaphosa outlined Mrs. Mandela as a character of impedance who laid down naked the construction of patriarchal. He apologized for just tardily recognition her deposit. I'm disappointed, Mom, how yours organization detained in on you its honor, to the spot in period and time. As CEO, I will offer how we confer you the highest procedure of our motion, you sumptuously merit to be decorated, Mr. Ramaphosa told. Down there were noisy cheers while the drastic economical liberty fighters lead Julia Malema pay homage to Mrs. Mandela. Mrs. Mandela was a public employee while she met her next man, later a visible against-apartheid campaign participant, in the 1950s. They were marital for a full of 38 years but for nearly 3 many decades of how period, they were separate by Mr. Mandela's length detention. They had 2 daughters along. Following Mr. Mandela was concluded by the apartheid mode, Mrs. Mandela became an world character of impedance to apartheid. She too was concluded for her part in opposed whites minority group guideline. To her supporters, she became named affectionately as Mom of the Nationality. But Mrs. Mandela as well found herself mired in fracas for many decades. She was charged of conduct of virtual rule of terrorism in components of Soweto by some members of the ANC in the deceased 1980s, and in 2003 she was condemned of scam. Orlando Arena reverberated as thousands sing release songs, profitable homage to the Liberty Soldier named to lot just as Mom Winnie. Supporters of different policy parties who are frequently at prospect in every put their differences towards to pay homage to the against-apartheid militant. For the black days of apartheid, Orlando Arena in Soweto was ever frequently related in political community supplying ardent speeches, and present was no various. Winnie Mandela's die controlled to bring together various policy parties who are frequently at prospect in every lot coordinated to put their differences towards to offer her the email off she honored. A revaluation of her deposit to Southward Africa's apartheid fight has been game out in regional print. Time one day she was shunned by Southward Africa's policy elitists, consisting her own side the ANC, in die she has been nearly everywhere lauded. 1936, unborn in Transkei 1958, marital Nelson Mandela 1969, concluded for 18 months for against-apartheid activities 1976, expelled to village region by apartheid authorities 1991, condemned of abduction 1996, dissolved of Nelson Mandela 2003, condemned of scam.